what I want to start with is, what does Illustrator do? What does InDesign do? What does Photoshop do? A lot of people have beliefs because they simply use the software for what they normally do, but now we're going to make it nice and easy. So, great infographic here, but we're going to jump over to what's going to make them actually work for you and give you some of the highlights here. And there we go. So, Adobe Illustrator. Adobe Illustrator has been around for quite some time, and its main purpose is to be creative, which is a very broad overview. But really what Illustrator is used for is it's used for creating logos, logo types, editing, vector graphics, illustration, building infographics, like the one that you see here. That was built in Illustrator. Any type of motion graphics that you can then bring into some motion editing software. Small print projects, business cards, letterhead, stationery. What Illustrator is not used for is it's not used for large publications. Books, brochures, multi-page publications. That's not what Illustrator is for. Illustrator is very much a creative application where you can go in and you can edit type, you can build graphics, you can create illustrations. It's definitely more along the lines of artistic, free-flowing. And one of the good things with Illustrator is that what we build in Illustrator can be brought into many other applications within the Adobe Creative Suite and also outside the Adobe Creative Suite. So when you see a logo or you see a type treatment or you see a graphic on the web, there's a good chance that it was all built in Illustrator. We can do small little projects in Illustrator that have some type and logos in them. Business cards, letterhead, stationery, that's all good. Sometimes people will go in and do a brochure. We have InDesign for that, but for a multi-page page publication, we don't use InDesign or Illustrator for that. That's definitely InDesign. One thing that we do use Illustrator for is packaging. Packaging requires a lot of ins and outs, die lines, special effects, and we use Illustrator for doing package layout, all sorts of things. I'm not going to get into package layout today because it's quite intricate, but just a quick overview on what Illustrator does. Illustrator is not good for audio, video, or animation. That's saved for other applications, but for Illustrator, not what it's used for. So basically, going in and creating graphics, logo type, type manipulation, small projects, illustration, that's what Illustrator is used for. And we're going to show you examples of that. We're actually going to build some files in here as well so that you can get a better sense of what it does. So here's some examples of things that have been created in Illustrator. Logos, type treatment, Mr. Bacon, infographics, and this chart on printing terminology that I created. Shapes and fills, basic type, type manipulation, that's what it's all used for. Now the end result from what we get from Illustrator is that we can save it as an Illustrator file, but we can also save these files as a PDF. And an Adobe PDF is pretty much universally accepted, and you can put a PDF into almost any application out there, which is why creating things in Illustrator works so well. And we can drop these into Photoshop for any type of web use. We can put these in an animation. We can put these in InDesign. We can print them directly off in here. You can put these in any type of spreadsheet that you want, or text editing document. You can send it to anybody, and you can print directly from the PDF. So creating this type of artwork in Illustrator is definitely what we do. That's what we have. So then we have Photoshop. And as one person said on the chat room today, I use Illustrator a lot, but Photoshop scares me. Photoshop is a big, wide, and deep application, and its main purpose is for photo editing, color correction, photo compositing, and any type of retouching that you want to do to images, special effects, filters, processing your images from your camera or your phone, creating web and motion graphics, being able to do web and mobile and user interface design. That's what Photoshop is great for. Absolutely fantastic. It's very robust. It's the industry standard for photo editing. And like I said, it's very wide, it's very deep, and can seem very daunting. But we're going to show you some of the basics of what you can do with Photoshop so that it isn't so daunting when you begin. What Photoshop is not used for. Photoshop is not used for any type of page layout whatsoever. I wouldn't create a brochure or a business card or anything that I'm going to do for print or publication that's going to require a lot of text and a lot of graphics. That's not what Photoshop is used for. Okay? So if I'm going to do a business card or a logo, I'm not going to do it in Photoshop. Not the right software to do. First of all, Photoshop doesn't have multiple pages like you would have, so it's not well suited for that. But it's also going to be based in the world of raster, and we're going to explain what raster and vector is so you get a better idea of when to use one application over another based on what type of output they were looking for. So any type of logos, never create them in Photoshop. Print materials, don't want to create that in Photoshop. Text-heavy items, no. So pretty much imaging, images, compositing, color correction, that's what we're going to use it for. And some of the examples of what we do in Photoshop, we've got some photo compositing here from my photo compositing class. And then we also have this doctor where we had the stethoscope in on the right-hand side, we removed it on the left-hand side, and being able to go in and manipulate our images. We also can do color correction with a cupcake image here. It was shot very dark, being able to go in and color adjust our images so that we can see the difference between what we started with, being able to adjust the color, being able to retouch. So we got this kid with a donut, we can put different donuts in there. That's what it's all used for. At the bottom we have pictures of a shirt. It's all the same shirt, but we can go through and we can adjust the color on each one of our images and be able to see the differences, change, color correct, color match, all in Photoshop. In the end, we can use these photos for just about anything. We can put them into print publications, we can use them for web, we can print directly from Photoshop for any type of photo quality output that we want, web, motion graphics, user interface design. All of these Photoshop files can be output for multiple different end purposes, or just to have them in Photoshop and look pretty, like the beautiful water bottle and the surrealist look that we did. So, Photoshop, image editing, its main purpose, that's what it does. And then InDesign. So, InDesign's main purpose is a page layout application. So, we don't create images, we don't edit images in InDesign, we don't create very complicated artwork in InDesign at all. The most thing that we create in InDesign is basic shapes, basic fills, and then we put type in, whether we enter type in from a text document or we type directly into InDesign. And its main purpose is to go through and create books, reports, flyers, brochures, single page, multi-page documents, cookbooks, any type of publishing feature that you have. We can also create large documents, posters, multi-page documents, table of contents, interactive files as well, ebooks, digital publishing, all done in InDesign. Its main feature is to be able to go in and take content, whether it be type, images, graphic, logos, whatever, put it all together and actually lay it out quickly and easily. Single page, multi-page, huge documents, cookbooks, you name it, catalogs, that's what InDesign is used for. It's not really used for image editing. We have no image editing capabilities in InDesign. We can't really draw much in InDesign. I wouldn't want to create a snowman in InDesign because InDesign is kind of self-contained. There's no way that I can really take any graphic that I create in here and actually get it out of InDesign to use in any other application. Its sole purpose is to gather content together and quickly and easily be able to lay out, format, keep all my type consistent over a single page, many pages, and any type of publication you can think of, magazines, catalogs, books, that's what InDesign is used for. So we aren't going to go ahead and use it for anything other than text, flowing it in, basic shapes, very basic shapes. Everything else that we get from to put our content, or to put in our InDesign content, is going to be generated either in Illustrator or Photoshop or other sources. So here's some examples of what we can do in InDesign. And we've got a multi-page brochure here, and we've got a poster, we've got some business cards, and we have a full-on presentation as well. And these are all things that are done in Adobe InDesign. Very little content is actually created, if any, in InDesign, but InDesign is going to be used to actually put everything together into one final printed piece, whether that be printed as a PDF or digitally published online or printed off on your printer or used in a presentation format. That's what InDesign is for. So anything that we create in InDesign, we can export as a PDF, and then we have that content, and we're going to show you what we actually do. So that's the basic overview of what each and every application does.